Hey, good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's having a great morning. It's been a fast morning here at our house. I just wanted to put a quick message out there because so often, it's just such a common thing out there now where people exercise a lot, but aren't necessarily supporting their bodies. And I'll hear people all the time say, hey, well, I ran 5 miles today, so I earned that apple pie. Or, I exercise so much, I have the right to eat a plate of brownies or whatever it is. That's the reason for their exercise, is so they can indulge in these foods. And so what I've learned now and what I know about oxidative stress and the damage in our body, that we increase that production of that oxidative stress and inflammation when we exercise. And actually, when we exercise over an hour of exercise, which like long distance runners and triathletes, or these, people that do CrossFit, or people that do these boot camps or fusion fitness, or any of these things that tell you to exercise over an hour during the day, you actually increase the inflammation and oxidative stress in your body, and it causes damage to your heart, unless you are offsetting it with nutrition. So there's a difference between being physically fit and having, strong muscles and being able to run long distances, and being nutritionally fit. And those who exercise that much actually need 16 to 20 servings of fruits and vegetables. So if I go out and I run 5 miles and I come home and I'm like, wow, it was a great run, man, I earned that giant piece of apple pie. I've just inflamed my body by running, right? Which it's good for me. Exercise is good for you, but you have to support your muscles and your body with the phytonutrients it needs to heal after you've just done damage to it, because exercise does do damage. In order to get stronger, you have to do damage to it. So what we need is lots of fruits and vegetables to offset that damage. So if I go for a 5-mile run and then I come home and eat an apple pie, or giant piece of apple pie, I've just given my body inflammatory sugar that will inflame me even more. So not only am I inflamed from the run, but then I've just inflamed my gut from all the sugar and the gluten and all of that stuff in the sugary, nasty foods. Or let's take, say I come home and eat like a giant hamburger. Well, I've just eaten a whole bunch of inflammatory fat. So we need to support our body with plants when we exercise a lot. And it becomes that much more important when we exercise over an hour a day. I've kind of switched to doing about 30 minutes a day, because it's really, in my opinion, exercising over an hour a day is not sustainable. People won't continue to do it. And it's just not a long-term success. So I say get used to exercising about 30 minutes every day. And it helps your body detoxify. It helps you release all those wonderful phytonutrients that you're eating. But remember that your health is 80% what you're putting in your mouth. Okay? And then you also need to learn how to read labels. Okay? So I have a degree in nutrition, and I learned how to read carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. I did not learn how to read ingredients. So yesterday I was talking to a guy who's a truck driver, and he was giving me these bars, and he was like, these are good for you, aren't there? There's lots of fiber in it, got oats. Well, the first ingredient was high fructose corn syrup. And I was like, no, this isn't good. The first ingredient is sugar. And there's other, drinks out there that we like to give the elderly and kids that are basically fortified sugar. And, they'll give it to, like, if a kid is in the hospital and he's not eating well, they'll supplement his diet or her diet with things like Pediasure or something like that. And it's really just making the problem worse. So we need to be able to read the ingredients. I once had a patient who was a type 1 diabetic, and her knee hurt really bad. And she was complaining to me because I'm a physical therapist, right? So she was telling me, oh my gosh, my knee pain is like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. And I said, okay, well, what are your blood sugars? And she kind of looked at me funny. And I said, well, what are your blood sugars? You know, show me. And so her blood sugars were like 300 to 400 every single morning. And I was like, well, as long as your blood sugars are that high, your knee is going to hurt that bad. And she was like, you know, why is that? And I said, well, that inflammation that's being caused in your body from those high blood sugars. So I said, what are you drinking at night? Or what are you doing to keep your blood sugar up during the night? And so she was drinking an Ensure. So I went and got the Ensure, and I had her read the label. And I said, you see all these, you know, the people look at carbohydrates, fats, proteins, and they see all those fortified vitamins, and they think that it's a good choice. And they've been told it's a good choice because it's marketed to them as a healthy drink. But I had her read the label, and the first ingredient was sugar. The second ingredient was a whey protein concentrate, which was very processed and very inflammatory. And the second and third ingredient was high fructose corn syrup. And then it was a bunch of stuff that I couldn't even pronounce. So then I went and got her a can of nuts, and I said, okay, read the label. So she looked at it, and she was like, peanuts, walnuts, cashews, Brazil nuts, you know, pecans, all of that stuff. And I said, okay, which one's food? And she said, the nuts. And so she started, I said, well, eat a handful of nuts and maybe a handful of grapes, something like that, before you go to bed. And let's see what happens. So she did. And her blood sugars went down into the hundreds. They were in the high 100s, but at least they were in the hundreds. And her pain went from an 8 or a 9 out of 10 to a 2 or 3 out of 10. And so that helped reduce her pain. So see how important it is to read labels. So we want to be nutritionally fit. So we have to be really savvy as far as what's in our food. Now, I'm a big believer. I say just eat outside the box, right? I just went to the grocery store today, and 90% of what was in my cart was fruits and vegetables. And that's primarily what we eat. And so, boy, it makes grocery shopping easy. And people ask me, what do you guys eat? I'm like, fruits and vegetables. We just shop from the produce aisle. So anyway, I want you guys to know that we need to be nutritionally fit. It's 80% of our health. We can't get enough through the fruits and vegetables in our store. So that's why it's so important to supplement with something like Juice Plus, because our fruits and vegetables aren't as nutritious as they once were. And who can eat 16 to 20 servings worth of fruits and vegetables if you're a big time exerciser? You would be walking around with broccoli and cherries and all that stuff in your hands all day. It just can't happen. So anyway, everybody have a great day. Hopefully you'll think twice before using running 5 miles as an excuse to eat a pan full of brownies, because I used to be guilty of it. All right. Love you guys. Have a good day.